Hi, Pragati here. Welcome to the second part of the three-part series video on how to assess the profitability of a buy-to-let investment. So on this part, I'm sharing what I know about return on investment, which is also called ROI. Some people refer this to as ROCI, which means return on capital invested, which is pretty much the same thing basically. So ROI is the common term here. On the first part, I discussed about the use of yield, the net yield and the gross yield, and how to use them and how to analyze them when you are looking into any buy-to-let property. So this is about ROI, return on investment. Now, what's really important to understand, this is really important, I would like to emphasize this, that your return on investment, ROI, is same as your net yield, as long as the whole purchase of that property is funded by your own cash. Okay, so just let me repeat that again, because it's quite important, that your return on investment is same as your net yield as long as the funding of the property was fully your own cash, which means without any mortgage. Okay, so we'll look at that later on in this video. So if you just remember, the formula for the net yield was your net rental income divided by the purchase price of the property times 100 to get the percentage. All right, so the formula now for the return on investment is your net rental income divided by the capital or the cash that you have injected in that project or in that property. Okay, so this is where it makes the difference, you see. So if you're buying by all cash, your denominator would be same for the yield as well as for the return on investment. So if you're only putting 25% of the value of the property, then the amount that you inject, the amount you employ in that project or the property would be 75% less, because you're only putting 25%. Okay, so it's important to understand that. So that brings to why would you put less of your money? So this is more for the newbie investors, if you like. So you would put less money because you want to use leverage, which is available through mortgage companies, lenders, even banks. So the money that you use from the bank as a mortgage is the leverage that you're using. So the higher the leverage that you're using, the more harder your own money is working. So which means your return on investment would be higher. Okay. So many investors, they tend to sort of find a rundown property where maybe some works needs doing, a light refurbishment or something like that. So if you bought that property on a mortgage, but then you spent another, let's say 20,000 to do that property, to refurb that property, so that money that you invested or money you spent on the refurbishment also gets added to the money that you employed. So for example, if you was only putting 25% deposit on 100,000 property, which is 25,000, but then you spent another 20,000 to make the property good, so that would be 25,000 plus another 20,000, making it 45,000 as the capital that you've employed. So that will make a big difference in the return on investment figure. Okay, so I gave an example of a project in the part 1 video, so if you haven't watched that, please do. So on that video example, we came up with a net yield of 3.9. So if we take the same figures, but this time where the property was funded by 25% of your own money and 75% of the mortgage, then the return on investment is actually 15.7. Okay, so that's a huge difference between a 3.9 if you were putting all of your own money, and 15.7 if you were using 75% of the mortgage and 25% of your own money. So it's a big difference. A lot of professional, sophisticated investors would like to use as much leverage as possible, because that's how you make your money work harder. However, what is also important to understand is two identical projects, the return on investments for every investor is not going to be same. So return on investor for this investor could be different from the other investors. So this is what I'm going to discuss on the next part of this video, on part 3, the factors that will affect the return on investment of a buy-to-let property. A good return on investment, when it comes to UK property market, a good return on investment is at least 10%. So if you can get at least 10%, any more than that, very sophisticated and professional developers, they look at least 20% return on investment. But this is more for small time buy-to-let investors. At least look for 10% return on investment. So the next part of the video will be about the factors that affects the return on investment and how you can boost the return on investment of your buy-to-let property. Thanks again for watching until the end and joining on the part 2 of this video. And please do like and subscribe. As you know, by doing that, you'll be helping other people who might be into the same line as you and I are. So please do like and subscribe, and thank you once again for watching, and happy investing for financial freedom.